Hey guys, it's Hadi from Kishmat and this is my round 7 and final recap from the Beirut and Mount Lebanon Chess Championship. Well, after drawing and losing in the previous 2 games, I had to win this game. There's no other choice. I came with this mentality. I either win or win. I can't afford to even draw the game. I have to qualify to the championship. So which is why I decided to play something kind of new. I played it during this tournament before, however not this exact line anyways. So I played d4, he played d5, and I did not go for the Jobava London. I went for c4 again, the Queen's Gambit. And this is the first time I play the Queen's Gambit in its official form, not against a King's Indian setup or whatever, in this tournament, and probably in my competitive life, actually. Anyways, after c4, he played e6, going into main lines. So here, like, I just have to play some chess. And I really didn't want to play the Jobava because I knew that he might be prepared, and I wanted to play something that, okay, I have an advantage in it. I'm not gonna win in 10 moves, I might win in 50. Since playing 1d4, you're not gonna win in 10 moves, that's one thing for sure. However, you're gonna have this slight edge, this nagging edge that you can develop and win in the long run. So, after e6, I played knight f3, he played knight f6, knight c3, everything is normal so far, and he played c5, the Tarrasch variation of the Queen's Gambit. And, to be fair, I was out of book very early, since I don't play the Queen's Gambit. However, I knew that this line exists, and before the game, like one day before the game, I was watching YouTube like I usually do, and some YouTuber played this line, this exact line in a competitive game, and he was analyzing it. So I had this game kind of fresh in my mind. So I played CD, he took back with the knight, and here I knew, since he said that the main move is e4, and I knew that the main move is e4 and he takes and I take back with the pawn, and then like it's a mess. I didn't want to go into this since I was pretty sure that he knows this better than me. I don't know this, like I know that e4, and then I don't know anything. So I decided to not play e4 and to simply take back with the knight, which in retrospect is not the best move. However, I kind of wanted to get him out of book, and this makes the position very dry. So now after a few moves, this position is very dry. It's very hard to win something like this, especially that the pawn structure is actually symmetrical. All pawns are like, we have the same pawn structure, and everything is kind of symmetrical. It's very hard to win a symmetrical game. However, I tried. So here he played bishop d7, stopping any kind of knight b5 or bishop b5. I played bishop d2, same thing, stopping any sort of bishop b4, and preparing some bishop c3 ideas also. And here he played bishop c5. And bishop c5 is not a good move in my opinion. Even though the engine claims that, okay, it's equal, everything's equal here, I believe that bishop c5 was a huge mistake, because the bishop on c5 is not stable. It's not a stable piece. It's not defended by a pawn. If he plays b6, he's actually weakening his light squares, and this bishop kind of belongs on d6 actually, not on c5. Since now it can be a target for my rook, or I can have tactics on it in the future. And this is exactly what happened. You're gonna see now. So I played bishop c3, defending my knight and putting my bishop on this beautiful diagonal. He castled, and here I thought a lot, and I really had a problem with developing this bishop. So I started looking for answers to how can I develop it, and I found that I can actually develop it. It's not a problem. I can play bishop e2. The problem was that my g7 pawn is hanging if I move the bishop. However, in this line, if he takes on g7, I simply play bishop f3, attacking the queen, defending the rook, and attacking b7. So now I'm winning his rook actually. So he did not do this. Here he played e5. And remember when I told you that bishop c5 is not actually a good move? This is like why. I'm gonna demonstrate now why. Since he played e5, now my knight is under attack. So I moved my knight back. And this knight b3 is the best move, and this is the only winning move in this position. So here after knight b3, I'm attacking the bishop, I'm attacking the queen, and most importantly, I'm attacking the pawn, which he cannot defend. So now I calculated that he has to take the queen, I take back with the rook, and now his bishop is under attack, and my rook is actually covering the d6 square, so he can't actually protect his pawn. So now I'm just winning a pawn technically, and this is exactly what happened. He went back with his bishop, I took the pawn, and then he gave me a check. his idea was that, okay, if I move my king, I can't castle. And if I block with the bishop, which is what I did, he's gonna take, I'm gonna take, and then I have these 2 pawns which are kind of weak. He's gonna try to target them, maybe win one of them back and play the game. I'm up 1 pawn now. However, like 1 pawn is not enough to win this. I have to like at least win 2 pawns, at least, in order to secure, okay, I'm winning. Here I was still like, I'm not gonna say afraid, however, I was still cautious, and I didn't want to ruin an advantage by just giving my opponent a draw like I did before. So here, after I took, he played bishop c6, and I castled, since my g2 pawn was under attack. So here he played rook e8. I'm not sure about this move, maybe knight d7 was better. Anyways, I played rook d2, I want to double up on the open file. He played knight d7, and I played knight a5 immediately. Now I'm attacking the bishop. If the bishop, like, I don't know, if it moves, I capture the knight, so it can't move. And if the bishop stays here, I'm gonna take it. And I'm gonna claim that, okay, I'm up a pawn, I'm gonna trade some material, not a lot of material, just I'm gonna weaken the structure here and try to win another pawn at least. So he moves his knight, I took, he took, and then I played bishop f3, attacking the pawn here, and if I take, it's obviously a fork, so he had to do something about it. He played rook ac8, and he's defending technically. He's very passive, however. I'm controlling the open file. This bishop is far better than this knight, and I'm up a pawn at the end of the day also. So here I played c4. Maybe it wasn't that precise. My idea was I just wanted to stop this knight d5 jump. I missed that he can actually jump to e4 since he's defended by the rook. And now if I take, he takes back with the rook. Now we're in a rook endgame where I'm simply up a pawn, and you've seen what happened in a rook endgame where I was up a pawn before, and I didn't want to go into a rook endgame, so I tried to avoid going into a rook endgame since all rook endgames are drawn. And I just decided to keep my piece, to keep the bishop on the board, since if I have any winning chances, it has, like, I have to keep my bishop. And here I just went up to the 7th rank, attacking a7. He played a5. I developed and controlled the open file technically. Now I have complete domination over the open file. He went back with his knight, attacking my rook, and I played rook a7, attacking the pawn. And here I calculated that, okay, if he plays a4, I simply have rook a5, and here I'm actually winning another pawn. Since the knight is under attack, he has to do something, and okay, let me show you what happens. Since if the knight moves, I simply take here, and if he tries to defend the knight with rook e5, here I played a brilliant move according to chess.com's engine, and I just played bishop takes c6. My idea is if he takes, I simply can mate him. This is checkmate now. He has to block, and then I take. So yeah, that's something. He can't take. Now I'm simply up 2 pawns now. 2 pawns is more than enough to win. So here I can simply trade all the pieces and then win the game. And this was my plan now. So here he played h6, creating a loft for his king, and I immediately went for the trades with rook a8. He took, I took, he went back, I went back, attacking the rook, attacking the pawn, putting pressure on the pawn, and then I played rook b8. He wants to infiltrate, try to create some counterplay technically. I immediately stopped his infiltration. I blocked the file of the rook, and then he played knight e4. And his idea is that he's in some position, threatening some forks on my rook and bishop. So here, I simply stopped this fork. He went back, I went up, he went back. He just wants a draw. He's more than satisfied with a draw now, obviously. So here, I played king f1, which, again, during the game, I thought that, okay, I can actually allow this fork on my bishop and my rook, since, okay, if he does this, I simply move my rook, this bishop is still defended, and he can't do anything. I completely missed that after knight c3, he's attacking my rook, my bishop, and he's attacking my pawn. And this is a problem now. Since if I lose this pawn, he has this a4 pawn, which is a passed pawn technically, which is a very, very, very strong passed pawn. So here I allowed this by mistake technically, and after he played it, I realized what happened. And I was very, very upset of myself, because like, he has so many threats in this position, such as, for example, like, okay, let me demonstrate. Okay, I played rook d4. The threats were that, I don't know, if I move my bishop, this is mate. This is mate since my king does not have the square. And this is a problem. And like, if I allow him to take, and this is what happened. Okay, after rook d4, my plan was like, if he takes my bishop, I simply take, and here I thought a lot. I spent like around 15 minutes here trying to just collect myself, since I knew, okay, I made a mistake, I did not notice this, I missed this move, I missed that he's attacking my pawn, so I'm obviously not at my best shape. I collected myself, spent 15 minutes to just, okay, wake up, and then continued the game. So here I spent 15 minutes and got the best move, which is rook d4. My plan is, if he takes my bishop, I'm gonna take back. If he takes back, I can simply take this pawn, and I'm still up 2 pawns. Up 2 pawns with an outside pass pawn is more than enough to win this rook endgame. And if he does like he did, which is taking on a2, I can actually, and here again, I spent a lot of time calculating if I can capture the pawn on a4 or not. Because if I can't capture it, it's a problem. So I calculate that I can actually capture the pawn on a4, and if he checks, which is what he did, I can simply block with the rook, since my bishop is now protecting here. And this is what happened. And here, he had to decline the rook trade since he's down 2 pawns now. I have a passed pawn, I have like, my king is gonna become active, so he just went back attacking my bishop. And here also I spent some time trying to decide where I'm gonna put my bishop, since this pawn is under attack now, so if I move my bishop to wherever, he can simply take the pawn. So this was a problem here. I moved it to c2, claiming that he cannot take the pawn because of rook d8 checkmate. So bishop c2 was actually covering this square, and now rook d8 is simply checkmate. And I was expecting that, okay, he's gonna play g6, he can play king f8, I'm not sure, he's gonna play something with his king, and I was waiting for it. And then he held his knight, and he played knight c6, completely missing my threat, which is rook d8 checkmate. I played rook d8 and it was mate. I'm not sure what knight d6 does, to be honest, since, okay, the obvious move if you missed this whole idea is just taking the pawn. However, he did not take it, he played knight c6 and I checkmated him on the board. So this was my final round. I've ended the tournament with 5 points out of 7, and I qualified for the nationals. So I'm playing at the Lebanese championship in October, I guess. I'm gonna try to do my best. As always, I'm gonna keep you updated. It's in 5 months, maybe 3, 4, 5 months. I'm not sure how much time exactly. I'm gonna try to prepare. I've started my preparations already, so I'm gonna try to prepare well for this tournament. I'm gonna try to score well. I'm gonna try to play my best chess and prove that I can actually compete with the best players in Lebanon. So I'm really excited for the nationals, and I can't wait for them to happen. See you in later videos. I have so much prepared for you, and bye bye.